It's unfortunate yesterday we were not able to do a video. I thought I had enough time, only to realize that time is always on the race, guys. So I'm going to do a video for 40 minutes because I'm exhausted actually. I'm just trying. They say before you make it, you have to try hard. So I'm just pressing the 25th hour, because if you don't create that 25th hour, our time is limited. Today, of course, we had a funeral, burial, and in fact, I was supposed to spend there today and come tomorrow, but because of the many activities that are running after our life, the fact that we have already spent a lot and we need to cover up for whatever expenses we've had, it becomes tricky, right? Yep, so let's go for it. Yeah, so guys, what's popping in politics? I think there's a lot. If I start talking about it, I can even talk for 10 hours. But now I have just 40 minutes because I'm trying to see whether I can sleep and wake up earlier tomorrow fresh. Remember, I have ironing to do and some other duties, firewood and all that. Yeah, so I may be forced to actually run through some aspects of politics very fast and then maintain my momentum tomorrow. Yeah, because of what had happened in the family, but it is what it is. So guys, Uhuru Kenyatta has actually been up and down talking about Jubilee, and some people feel like he's not ready to leave Jubilee for Matiang. Others feel like there is some betrayal, like there's bombshells. So I don't know. In your perspective, what's popping? What's popping? Because I thought that Matiang had actually taken over Jubilee, and that was to silence the shenanigans which were coming up. But there is something cooking again. Let's just go for it and see.
Wanajubilee hamjambo, wanajubilee hamjambo. Hebu tusalimiane, zile zetu za zamani za hewa ndizo hizo. Asante sana, asante sana, asante sana. Jubilee oye! Jubilee oye! Kenya oye! Asanteni sana, ubarikiwe. Tafadhali nituketi. Asante. Asante sana. Atachukua.
Commercial break, guys. Sometimes these commercial breaks are just too much, but they are part of the earning for YouTube, so let's go for it. We can break them down. Let's just let it be.
Ya kutueleza mwelekeo wa chama utakuwa mgani, sio watu wachache pale kidogo huko. So 3 years ago, end of a hotly contested general election, and amid an atmosphere of hostility, not only to our party, but to myself, members of my family, and members of my administration. But despite that, I stood at this same venue, ready to begin a process that should have been normal in any mature democracy. A process of rejuvenating our party and infusing it with new leadership, a new crop of leaders inspired by a new generation who would craft our party's future as well as our shared vision for our country. After having handed over the reins of state to a new administration in a peaceful and orderly manner, as you all witnessed, primary education that we inherited from President Kibaki, we expanded the free day secondary education and reduced the burden of healthcare for our parents with the introduction of EduAfia. Musibaki nyuma. In the next few weeks, we shall be rolling out our recruitment strategy across the country across generations and gender. This in conjunction with other activities aimed at rejuvenating and reinvigorating our party at grassroots level. Our doors are open for all well.
So guys, after Matiang was actually pronounced 2 days ago to be more in charge of Jubilee, Uhuru Kenyatta has come up to speak. And what he's saying is that not few people will talk for the party. Everybody else will be involved. He's reminding individuals that Jubilee is there with a reason and a purpose. And of course, he's emphasizing on rejuvenating and renovating Jubilee Party. Why do you think this is the more interesting? It's taking an interesting course for actually to have National Delegates Convention, a special one, conducted. And then President Uhuru posed such a, the former President Uhuru posed such a message, you know. Now, of course, somehow on Kisi FM Digital, Uhuru seemed to be telling the people that when you look at Jubilee Party, it's now a party for Matiang. What did he mean by that? Yeah. So it's more like a comeback to politics. If you look at this, if you may ask me, I don't know whether it was a Trump move. And do you think currently he thinks that the situation will be like what happened in Gabon? Is it Gabon? No, Malawi. One time. People going back to the president who had failed the other time. Like they did in the US also, bringing back Trump when it was unexpected. Doreen Kawira, hi, welcome. I'm a bit sleepy, but I'm trying to do what I'm gonna do. We are 7 minutes into our time. We are having a session of 40 minutes. So I think we are remaining with about 23 minutes, right? No, 33. Oh, welcome. It's the first time watching. Thank you, sister. And you can subscribe to the channel if it's the first time watching, or you can take your time, look through videos, and then like the video if you think it's doing a proper analysis based on my unique aspect, because for me, I look through matters and analyze, critique, and see what possibly I prospect. Yeah. So Uhuru comes out to slam Ruto's leadership, saying that he had warned Kenyans not to choose Ruto. And of course, he's saying he saw, you asking, Doreen is asking, who else is watching? There are people watching, though they are not chatting. We had 20 people, they came to 30, they came to 8, now they are 5. So maybe they are not willing to chat, but there are people watching. So don't feel lonely. Maybe somebody will be coming to chat just like you did. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm asking myself, sometimes leaders are so quick in castigating others. I don't say Ruto is a good leader. I can say that. But was Uhuru also a good leader? I don't know. He's talking about Edu Afya. Of course, Edu Afya helped a lot of students. I remember even in my school, most of them could go get free help. And of course, at some point, it had allowed students to go even abroad when they have conditions worth treating away. I remember there's a salonist that makes my hair. She was supposed to have a son who is anemic going to China for bone marrow transplant. She has organized everything. She had literally even looked for passports only for this, insurance to be stopped. And it's sad. Now she lives with a situation she would have solved long ago. All right. Yeah. So, of course, I remember that one. And when it comes to education, I would say I was also doing business then, selling books, and they were selling better by far. currently you struggle around to dispose books in schools and even get paid. But those times, we could easily sell our books and schools would pay because the computation would come in time, and away from that, they were predictable. Now, currently, they are not. All right? He also talked of something else, Linda Mama. Linda Mama was another initiative during the Uhuru's government that really served a lot in delivery rooms. Yeah, so I think the government currently should be a bit serious about these matters and many more. You know, matters of common citizens, you know. Okay, now let's get to this shenanigans surrounding Sifuna. I'm not just understanding why a lot of rumors are spreading about Sifuna. The first aspect we had was people are calling him a project and indicating that he's strongly in the broadband government, only he comes out to backlash them for reasons. Up to now, I've not yet understood whether that is true or not. And I really wonder why one would bash the government left, right, and only maybe to later join them. I wouldn't know. If you asked me, I have no idea about why this happens, all right? Now, when you come to the other end, I'm looking at this matter in a different perspective, right? I'm looking at it at a different perspective, and I'm wondering whether it's propaganda. Do you think, guys, it's propaganda that is targeting Sifuna? So when somebody decides that their marriage life is private, like personally, I have a partner who is not very free to have matters to do with social media in terms of platform. Like I can't actually focus on Facebook content or YouTube in matters partnership. Does that mean I'm hiding something? Does it mean he's hiding something? That's my question. Because Sifuna has actually been put on the limelight. And I'm not sure whether these bloggers are doing something which is truthful or faulty. Yeah? And when they do this, are they really doing the correct thing? That's another question I would raise. However, maybe we can look at this video and judge for ourselves and maybe establish why this video was brought up. Because I've looked at it, but I'm not getting why this had to come out at this hour. So let's look at this video here. Edwin Sifuna private life. Here it is.
He seems to lock the doors and throw away the keys. His life off the podium is shrouded in mystery, and that cover of silence has fueled more speculation than perhaps he ever intended. For a very long time, many Kenyans have wondered whether the Nairobi senator was single. After all, unlike many politicians who showcase their spouses and families on campaign posters and at rallies, Sifuna to walk alone and keep his private matters private. On one side, it shields loved ones from the harsh layer of public scrutiny. On the other, however, it breeds curiosity, leaving many people to connect dots that may or may not back in their school days. In fact, they were classmates, and what has it that Sifuna tried a number of times to win her heart only to be turned down, before eventually convincing her to become, as the Bible would put it, his rib. Their relationship, however, has remained private for law enforcement across the continent, and she is even listed as a KWS honorary wildlife warden. In short, she is a professional who carved out her own legacy away from the limelight of politics. Is never short of whispers, and even the most private marriage is not immune from rumor. Sifuna, like many men of power, has found his name thrown into the rumor mill of alleged EPM Legal Committee as the secretary was mentioned. Anonymous claims have suggested that the two may have shared more than just legal briefs. Edwin Sifuna's side piece is Maloa Babs, the lawyer, said one anonymous user, with another one giving us more information about her. Maloa runs a fancy law firm at Sifuna akona mtu Kisumu. Sifuna's side piece from Kisumu anaitwa Sarah, though she's married. Where there is smoke, there
Oh my
could
God.
be fire. So
All right. So, of course, as it is being said, where there's smoke, there might be fire. Do you think Sifuna is actually cheating? Some people are saying, why bring all this in the limelight when it was no longer there? And in fact, Sifuna was not interested. The wife, the lawyer, was not interested. And Maloa, who is a side chick, the supposed side chick, is not interested. So, guys, there are things, sometimes, January, which says, as far as politician not pushing his traditional family values agenda on his supporters, he or she is free to do whatever they are placed in their private time. I just don't know why people actually go down into the life of somebody. When you become popular, automatically, and I know that will happen, even if I particularly become a politician maybe one day, or I become popular, automatically people will bring out things like where I was, who I was with, you know, speculations, whom I was taking lunch with when I traveled to maybe a given country, whom I appeared around. Such things are expected, you know. And do you know the reason why these things thrive? It's because Saga goes far. People thrive in Saga. Do something funny and you will be known in the whole country within a short period. However, if you keep quiet and just settle, have a free life, and maybe you are not so much known, then however good or bad you do, people will not care. But once you come out as a politician, I don't know, it happens that people now begin scrutinizing. They leave one person, they move to the next, and they come back. You know, it's like a ball, a football game if you have ever watched, right? Okay, far from it, we can move to a different aspect of politics. Let's get here. Yeah, the Somali community actually has been demanding that Nuru Okanga, Omosh, and even there was a lady who was found stepping on the stepping on the Kenyan flag. So they are actually demanding that these people should be dealt with. Now, for Nuru Okanga and the Omosh, they are demanding that these people should return the suits they have to Italy. For whatever reasons. When it comes to the Kenyan lady who stepped on the flag, these people, the Somali, are demanding that if they are acting on the Somali boys, let them act also on the Kenyan boys. Guys, that is how matters are. Let's watch this. Of course, you saw when Murkomen ordered the arrest of these boys or deportation. That's when they started everything. So we'll be checking on that before we check on Natembea, right? Yeah, so let's see this. Skip. Yep, here. Did you see Omosh with this? Omosh with this suit.
Yes, guys. Almost like a baba. 1 hour. Niko isili. Na ningependa kuambia Wakenya wale wanajua kuvaa nguo vizuri. Niko hapa. Ukiangalia mahali niko, ukiangalia juu yangu, nitakwambia niko wapi. So,
now after Bunge la Wananchi went after the Kenyan Somalis and told them
Yeah, of course, that is a story that is trending even on Wafula David and other corridors. And you remember this Somali guy that was saying Nuru Okanga should return the suit. I don't know if you saw this.
Na Omosh 1 hour warudishe suti zao. Wasomali wa Isili wamekubali kurudi kwao. Sawa? Lakini Nuru Okanga na huyu anaitwa nani? Omosh 1 hour. Murudishe hizo suti mmetoa Isili juzi. Hamwezi kuja Isili tuangarishe, tuwavalishe suti, tuwaweke vizuri, alafu mnaenda huko Jivanji, bunge la wananchi, mwanze kutuambia ati turudi kwetu. Tumekubali kurudi, lakini hatuwezi enda bila suti zetu. Haraka haraka hizo suti zirudi bana. Ama namna gani? Na hata sisi wa Somali tumejikubali. Mmetuonyesha kwanza hamtupendi kabisa, na tumekubali hiyo.
Na nimeona yule mwingine amechukua tu, amefungua tu simu yake, akaanza tu kunitusi tu bure tu. Sio mambo ya suti, sijui turudishe suti. Ndugu yangu, Osiba nataka kuongea, lakini umeniguza, siongee, lakini sasa hivi kama sijaongea jakaranda. Lakini watatu kutane jioni nikwambie Umoshi ni nani, si ndio? Sikuwa nimeongea, watu wameongea hii mambo ya flags nini, lakini wewe umesema sio Umoshi 1 hour, Nuru Okanga turudishe suti. It's okay, tukutane jioni ndio nikwambie Umoshi ni nani. Sawa.
All right, so of course you've seen that as the Somali guy demands that Nuru Okanga and Omosh return their suits at Garissa Lodge, because the Somali have accepted to go back to their country just like they have said, but they will not go without the suit. Guys, Kenya is a funny comedy, full of comedy country, right? Now let's look at Natembeya overthrowing Mudavadi as the Luya kingpin. I want us to just look at what is happening here and see the reality. And I warned you about this. I think I said this earlier, that Natembeya is automatically gaining a lot of mileage. However much people are coming up with propaganda about him being a project, I'm yet to believe that. You know, in Kenya, anything is possible. It's very possible. Let me pause for 1 minute and check something before I continue. Okay, let's proceed. Yeah, let's proceed. So how is Natembeya trading? Natembeya is actually gaining over the mileage in Luya Nation. Humanitarian translation, thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, currently I'm encouraging people to talk politics. Yeah, most of us avoid politics, say let it be. But then I just realized that every day I talk about politics, there are so many things I come to understand. And when I watch this news and actually have a third eye to evaluate what's going on, I now see the relevance. Because when I was in the university, people used to say human beings are political, and I was like, what do you mean? But then when I decided to develop an interest in politics, I just found how sweet it is. And sometimes when I sit with people, I don't find difficulty in putting an argument. When someone is even trying to challenge me on minor issues, I don't keep quiet. I find myself talking. I don't know whether it is something that will piss off people or maybe make them listen. I'm not so sure. Anyway, thank you so much. So let me check at Natembeya. Of course, Vihiga. The Vihiga people, automatically we should expect that they'll be worshipping or listening to Mudavadi. But the other day I looked at Mudavadi and he was with Natembea, not Natembea, but he was with the Bungoma guy, the current speaker, Baba or Aroma. Is it Baba or Papa? Papa or Aroma. And the only thing they were telling the Luya people is that they should know that they have been in the cold for so long and they should stick to the government. I was like, what do you mean? What is the difference between saying that and what actually Gachagua was saying? I don't see the great difference here. Anyway, let me stop sounding like a broken record and bring Natembea here.
In Sabatia, Mudete on September 27th, 2025, elders from Vihiga's Maragoli, Bunyore and Tiriki communities converged. They crowned Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembea as the spokesman for Western Kenya. This was not just ceremony. It was a political coup in Mudavadi's own backyard. More than 100 elders were present. Natembea led a procession into the heart of Mudavadi's territory, Sabatia, home to his family graves and his parliamentary roots.
Mimi nikitoka hapa leo naenda nikijua kwamba watu wa Thika wako chonjo, wako ngangari, wako tayari kuungana na wale wengine kubadilisha taifa la Kenya.
From this moment, the Luya political order will never be the same again. Why choose Mudete Sabatia to declare the boldest act? Because it's symbolic. It is where Mudavadi's identity.
So anybody who understands politics knows that at home ground is the definition of a politician. Now the moment in your own home, let's say home ground, people can't actually trust you, then you are no longer a leader. Anytime your home ground, people are doubting you and they want somebody else to come in, your leadership skills have ceased. And that is exactly what's happening to Mudavadi. Mudete is an area where Mudavadi comes from. However, when Natembea went there, people were celebrating him and endorsing him as the kingpin of Western. It's not easy, right? Ask yourself why. Of course, if I may tell you the reality, it's about the situations people are encountering. Life has become the toughest end of it, especially with the increase of fuel and rising prices of everything, including vegetables. There are times where we used to buy vegetables tied at 1 shilling, then we came to 5 shillings, and we have been at 5 shillings for very long. However, of late, we are only doing at 10, and I'm seeing some sorts of 20. Looking at that, it tells you without doubt that life is not easy, right? Life is not easy. Yeah, so guys, I think we need to get to a different story. We are remaining with some 12 minutes before we go. And I like keeping my promise. I like keeping my promise so that I don't seem to actually frustrate my audience, actually. So, there has been no drama, of course. Ruto insulting Uhuru through his man. And you know his man, of course. And I want you to pay attention to this. Just see. These insults, and I think that's what brought Uhuru Kenyatta to respond recently. I think I've already done that a little bit. Let me just check on this.
Sera zako ama manifesto ya Jubilee. Uhuru Kenyatta has just coughed, and State House is already suffering for governance. Kenya Kwanza's loudest. Haina nafasi na watu kama haya. Over 5 senior Ruto allies led by DP Kithure Kindiki took turns dressing down the former president. The gloves came off. Mimi nataka kumwambia rafiki yetu Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, ile kazi ambaye anafanya haijawahi kufanywa na marais wote Kenya. Uliacha kama mbolea ni shilingi 9,500. William Ruto ameiteremsha paka shilingi 2,500. wacha Kenya iende mbele. Wewe umeheshimiwa, nataka niambie mimi na Mheshimiwa William Ruto na wengine tumesaidia ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta kwa muda kadhaa, na ni rafiki yangu. Nataka ni the best for Kenya. Tunaomba uende retire, uache William Ruto.
Many of the gains we had in the past have been eroded. Linda Mama and others replaced by new, untried, untested schemes. And while we wait for these experiments to work, Kenyans suffer and our progress is retarded. To dwell in rhetoric rather than in progress, we repeat the mistakes of the past. Indeed, today, some of the truths we
All right, so we saw Uhuru Kenyatta slamming Ruto's empty experiments, including SHA, which other, housing, and many other. Of course, you've been on the streets, you understand. So he slammed him for that. And I was just asking myself, do you believe that he's the right person to slam him? Do you think he really achieved than the current president? Or are we being fooled somewhere? This is something everybody has to sit down and interpret. You may not be able to answer now, but you may go down, sit and understand and see. Are we being played again, or do we have a future? All right? Okay. Let's see the last straw of the day. I like watching Professor Herman Manyora. And I want you to look at his analysis at the secret behind Uhuru's attack on Ruto, the recent one, right? So this is the last of the stories. After this, I'll be going back to Facebook to do some updates. Facebook page.
Reliable, delivered.
What is this?
The one-term thing is real. The anger in the country against President William Ruto is real. You can touch it. You can smell it. You can taste it. It's real. So, he would want to do something. Or he would want to do things. Give him a fighting chance in 2027. One way is through Matiang'i. So you get Matiang'i on board through a proxy with UHURU Kenyatta. Give him sufficient support. The net result is simple. One, the Abagusi votes, the Kisi votes, which could have gone to the opposition whether or not Matiang'i was a presidential candidate, then remains with Matiang'i. It doesn't go to a joint presidential candidate, Kalonzo Musyoka, for instance. And number two, and more critical, and which serves Uhuru's interest, like I've said before, Uhuru may want to ensure that Rigathi Gachagua does not replace the Kenyattas as the go-to person or family in Mount Kenya politics. But more critically, as far as 2027 is concerned, you bring confusion to Mount Kenya. You disrupt Mount Kenya unity. Because if Uhuru Kenyatta backs Matiang'i and Rigathi Gachagua either runs or supports Kalonzo or Eugene or whoever it is they support, the confusion on the mountain, the division on the mountain will play right in the hands of William Samoei. Because, truth be told, Ruto's is Mount Kenya.
So
A united Mount Kenya against William Ruto is indeed a nightmare. And therefore, if you succeeded, this is politics. And therefore, you can now see why people are suspecting that Matiang'I will be protected. But what are the indicators? What reasons are people giving? Because people talk to me. Actually, this video, I'm doing it on behalf of those who have asked me. Not conspiracy people, not clandestine people.
So according to Professor Herman Manyora, there's a lot of conspiracy. Yeah, conspiracy theory is a common aspect, and in fact, if you can research, it's a theory that is applied on creating propaganda. All right? However, as many people come up and talk about Matiang'I as a project, they have to go deeper and let us understand why they are saying so. Let them not just tell us it's a project because he worked with the government. So many of the people who are in opposition currently, they were in government at one point, and those who are in government were in opposition at one point, right? Yeah, so the opposition actually has a room to work together and win, or divide and fail. This is not a theory that I'm just trying to put here, but I've seen in many countries, not just Kenya. And of course, if you read fiction, Fathers of Nation tells us the same about Zimbabwe, right? Yeah, so the featuring of Raila Odinga for years, and now we have seen many new candidates emerging, tells us something new. Maybe possibly people really demand for change, but how will they marshal and make sure that they win? That's something they have to think of, right? Yeah. So I'm left with 3 minutes, and unless there is a question for somebody to answer or to raise, and here there are some questions. I've just posted one question, like walking in the rain. I need a yes or no answer. Yes or no is an answer. All right. So as I give you time to do that, let me post the video and go to the Facebook page. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing up. Subscribe to the channel, like and share. I love you guys. Even late in the night, you stand with me. Humanitarian Translation, January Witch, Doreen Kawira. I'm so appreciative, alongside others who came by. Bye-bye.